Hey y'all, it's Marcia from Pretty Girls with Curls. I don't have my usual setup today. I don't feel too good and I didn't have the energy to put it all together, and we're moving right now. We have things everywhere. So I'm just laying in bed and trying to get myself together and stuff like that. So as you can tell from the title, I am expecting. Your girl is pregnant. I am going to be 13 weeks in 2 days and I'm super excited. We're all super excited, and I've been MIA because of that. I've been so sick, y'all. Like I had severe morning sickness, and even as I'm approaching 13 weeks, I'm still super sick. So I missed y'all, and I'm trying to, I've been trying to be more consistent on YouTube, and then I got pregnant, so baby come first and I come first, of course. So I've been trying to take care of myself. So yeah, I want to talk to you guys today. Right before I got pregnant, I was planning on doing a video based, talking about my story with endometriosis, and I was gonna make a year post surgery. Well, I made a year post surgery in July, and I found out I was pregnant in June. So I decided to just put it together with my pregnancy and talking about endometriosis, because I know many of you who have endometriosis, or you may think you have it, are probably concerned about infertility, because I did struggle with that as well. So I do want to share that with you today and talk about my story and try to inspire you guys as well, and just give you hope that you too can conceive, and don't worry about what the doctors say. I'm going to tell you what the doctors told me and all of that stuff, and don't worry about what the doctors say, and you just never know. First off, what is endometriosis? So endometriosis is the disorder in which you have tissues that normally line the inside of the uterus. They grow outside of the uterus instead. So you can have these growths on your fallopian tubes, your uterus, your ovaries, your pelvis, and other parts of the inside of your body as well. And these growths cause pain. Usually they cause pain. Some may have endo and not have any pain at all. They may not know that they have endo until they're trying to conceive and they're having struggles trying to conceive and whatnot. Now, there are several symptoms that you may or may not have with endo, but most do have some type of symptom. My symptoms were painful periods and infertility. So there are several other symptoms that you can find on Google if you simply type in endometriosis symptoms and whatnot. And so my first was definitely painful periods, and I've been having painful periods since my period came on. Now, there are 4 stages of endometriosis, ranging from mild to severe. And so you'll have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. Stage 4 being severe, stage 1 being mild, of course. I happen to fall into stage 4, which they say that stage 4 is usually when you have the infertility. So I'll tell you guys about it in a little bit. But yeah, when I was diagnosed with stage 4 last year, it just like took everything out of me. It was just a mess. So I'm gonna take you guys back down memory lane of how I really been dealing with my periods throughout the years, and how I knew something was just not right with me. Like I just knew something was wrong. So first of all, my period came on when I was 10, and at 10 I had heavy periods. They got heavier over time, but at 10 I used to ask my mom, like, why? Like, what's going on here? Like, is this how it's supposed to be? Like, I just knew something was wrong from day one. And when I got about 13, 14, my periods got heavier, but that's when the pain started kicking in. And I mean, I couldn't even stand up. I would be in a ball. My mom and my parents would think I was trying to get out of things. But I really was in excruciating pain. And it was like nothing I can do about it but take it. I was told to take it. Every girl goes through that. But reality, I was just, my periods were probably 10 times worse than anybody, like a regular period, you know? So, having that as a teenager, um, when I really realized something was wrong is when I saw my other friends. I noticed that they weren't complaining about their periods as much as I was. They were able to do things and have fun when their periods were on. When my period was on, all I wanted to do was stay in the bed. I seriously noticed my friends using these tiny ass tampons, and here I am like wearing pads, and I didn't wear tampons until I got to college. Like, and even then, like I was going to the bathroom super, you know, frequently. So yeah, my periods were very heavy. Those are my top two symptoms: heavy and painful periods. And I forgot to mention that earlier. And as the years went on, my period got worse. So 18, going into college, like I had to miss so many events because of my damn period. It wasn't until I was about 18 that I went to a gynecologist and told them about my periods, and the first thing they recommended was to get on birth control. So I got on the birth control. I don't think I lasted on there more than 6 months. It made me sick. It made me bitchy, emotional. Like I was just not myself, and I didn't like it. So I got off. I got back on birth control when I was about 21. And again, I told them about my symptoms. I believe it was the same doctor. It was. I told him about my symptoms and everything. This is a male doctor, by the way. And I, really said something has to be wrong. And then again, they recommend birth control. And this time, they recommended that I do that Depo shot. And I'm gonna tell y'all now, if any of you think that you have endometriosis, do not get on that shot. That shot, I can talk about it for a long time, but that shot was probably the worst things I've ever done. I actually think it probably made my endo worse because I do feel like I had endo before that shot, but if I did have endo before that shot, the shot made it worse, like 20 times worse. And I mean, I bled for months after that shot, maybe like 3 months straight. And I was depressed. I was gaining weight. It was a mess. And the pain after that, like, exceeded what I was going through before. So, yeah, definitely do not take that shot. Um, I got off that. Well, I didn't redo the shot. You're supposed to do that every 3 months, I think. And I didn't take it again. And so, it wasn't until a couple of years later, I think I was about 25, I went to a different doctor, and that's when they told me that I had signs and symptoms of endometriosis. And this is when I first heard the term. I didn't know what it was prior to. I just knew something was wrong with me. And so I'm just sitting here like, what the heck? Like, am I gonna die? Like, what is going on? So they did an ultrasound. They checked for fibroids and cysts. I did have, I think, a cyst or two, which they weren't concerned about. So the last thing was that everything was pointing to endometriosis. And I don't think I even told anybody at that time. I think it took me a couple of years after that to tell my parent, well, my mom or anyone what I was going through. I do remember the doctor telling me that the only way I can find out is if I had surgery. And I'm just like, what? Surgery? I can't afford surgery. Just got out of college and all that stuff at the time. So I just went on with my life. I didn't go back on birth control. I just, kept it moving. So it wasn't until I moved to Texas, I met my boyfriend at the time. I was about 27. My pain got worse. My period started lasting longer than 7 days. They were probably 9 days, y'all. It was bad. And then I started cramping, like every 2 weeks I would start cramping. So it's like I didn't have much of a break between periods of no pain. Like it was every 2 weeks. So, but my period would come on once a month, but I would start cramping 2 weeks after my period went off. And it really took a toll on me then too, and on my relationship, and not want to get out, not want to do anything, just want to stay home. And I remember telling my boyfriend something was wrong. I told him about, what my doctor said and a few years prior. and about the endometriosis and all of that. And then he promised one day we would take care of it and do the surgery, which we did when I hit 30. When I hit 30, I did the surgery. It's called a laparoscopic surgery. So each surgery can be different. Mine, they didn't know what to expect, so they told me at first they may make one incision, but they ended up making 3, and they got rid of 80% of my endometriosis. And it was on my ovaries and I believe on my fallopian tubes. I can't really remember, but yeah. So hearing that, and then hearing that I still had some of this crap in me, and then post surgery I find out that it can grow back. I'm like, y'all didn't really tell me that prior to surgery. So yeah, they're telling me it can grow back within 6 months. They told us that we had a 5% chance of conceiving within those 6 months, conceiving naturally. They really try to talk us into doing fertility treatments, and I didn't want to pay that much, like $20,000 at the time. I was like, what? And then they tell you it's not, 100% guaranteed that you'll conceive with the fertility treatments, and I just didn't want to take that. I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. And so yeah, hearing that I had 5% chance of conceiving naturally and 6 months to do it. So within those 6 months, I will say that every time my period came on, every month within those 6 months, I mean, I felt down, I felt depressed. It was really hurtful, it was really sad. And I finally got to the point where I was just like, forget it. I'm over it. I'm not going to be worried about this anymore. I'm not going to stress about it. And I'm going to place it in God's hands, and whatever happens, happens. I prayed one last prayer to get pregnant, and then I said, God, this is all yours. I'm placing it in your hands. And like a month later, I found out I was pregnant. So yeah, so I mean, it is hope. I do wish that, like, I pray for all of my endo sisters and everyone who's gone through infertility. I do. I say a prayer for all of you guys, and I'm not sure if this surgery, like, if it helped or not, but I will say I'm glad that I did it. I will say that I'm glad that I did it, even though I was so down and depressed after the surgery. But who knows? Who knows if it helped or not? I really don't know. I do feel like changing my diet, working out, letting the stress go, and just not worrying about it. I feel like all that helps, because I was really stressed in the beginning. I do want to come back and talk a lot more about endo. I'm just not feeling my best today, but I did want to come on camera and talk about this, talk a little bit about it today. So I've been getting a lot of questions on my DMs. A lot of you too have had the surgery, and you're praying for your blessing, you're praying for your miracle. And I do want to say, if you have any concerns about whether you have it or not, please talk to a doctor right away. You don't want to wait years and years. And then too, you may find a doctor that just wants to throw you in birth control. If that's the case, then find another doctor. Like, don't just let them try to give you medication. And now there's a medication for endometriosis pain. I wouldn't dare get on that medication. It has so many side effects. I'm going to talk about that too in another video, but I wouldn't dare get on that. I think it just dropped last month, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I wouldn't dare do that. So unfortunately, there's no cure, but there is treatment, which is the surgery. And like I said, there's that medication now that I wouldn't dare try. But we'll talk about a lot more in the future videos. And I do hope that you all who are struggling with infertility, I hope you all keep your head up. Do not stress about it, especially, like I told y'all, I stressed about it, and that's when nothing happened. But as soon as I gave it up to God, that's when I got pregnant, like seriously, like a month later. So yeah, so I hope this video can kind of help somebody, and I hope it makes sense, because I don't feel too good. So I hope y'all got some information, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye.